Alright, so kicking off with this second game, I think the last game was just a restart game. We've got Faber and Debram on a double Egypt setup in Ra and set up against Neko Lizzie and Lordka as a double Norse setup this game. So we got Thor and Odin this time around. They had a Thor and Loki fight last time, but we'll see how we go in this one. A lot of temples being thrown down here on both sides, as the Norse player has access to the Ulfsarks who can build as well as fight, while the Egyptian players train the villagers quite quickly as well. No Atlantean players, so it's going to be very temple centric. No Greek players, so they're not going to look at beelining towards lots of archery ranges or barracks. As such, they might as well just spam the temples for now. The double Egypt comp definitely has the range advantage, I think, in this match. Armory going down from Neko Lizzie as well. That can finish up. It can be quite beneficial. You can start streaming in the upgrades a little bit earlier than all the other civs. I mean, all the other gods. Because Classical Age only finishing up now, and that armory is almost finished. But these priests just blowing up all the myth units. I mean, the two ravens, not really of any use for the Odin player. You can't really scout anything on this mode, but that Einjerhard just copping it there. The temple's being deleted here in favor of barracks, because then you can spam some throwing axemen and Ulfsarks rather than just Herseers to try and fight this priest ball, but that's a hefty amount of priests right now for our topside team. Couple more of the barracks being finished up now. There's so many priests there. 20 priests for Debram already, and Faber will have a similar count as well. 25, 26. So our Norse players desperately going to try and hold on and tech up here, and we do have armories finished for both of them, so they will be able to get their heroic age and will be able to start getting upgrades if they can get that ranged armor and their melee damage upgrades in, or their human weapons damage upgrades in, sorry. It can be the tipping point against this big mass of priests, because they're going to have to be very careful with using any of their myth units to stream in to fights here. Neko Lizzie trying to cram out the market just to get mythic in queue, and then you can cancel the market. Then you can delete the market, sorry, and make use of the space. The god powers for the south side being denied, because Debram has that rain power right now, and it looks like the top side has all the aggression going their way. They're going to be able to pick off one of these longhouses now. This tower's being upgraded, but an age up there for our set player, so another bunch of free myth units in set animals. Debram following up on the rain god power with using the Eclipse, so it improves the attack and movement speed of all units, or the myth units, sorry, as well as blocking powers for any of the Norse players, because I mean, Neko Lizzie can look at using a Frost. Lordka also has a Frost. They do have the Undermine as well, so they can look at clearing out some of these towers, assuming they can be successful in a fight, because they are slowly repelling this mass priest army. But once again, it does creep forward because they want to try and deny Lordka's attempt at finishing up this market. Lordka does get it, so there will be mythic upgrade in queue eventually, as our Thor player already has Tyr on the way. So Faber is working towards his Thoth. And Debram getting Horus. More buildings. I was gonna say more buildings, but that was probably just deleted. But an impressive frost there. Neko Lizzie, and Undermine being used behind this just to clear out a couple of towers. But our Norse players are really going to want to try and get some army out in the field if they can, because I mean, Neko Lizzie has that hill fort, getting some rams stacked up, but you probably want to try and get some ballista if you can at this stage, try and tear down those houses, or these towers. No point really focusing down the frozen units because they do have so much armor. You're only ever going to deal like half a damage per unit on them. It's ridiculous. So the houses, one of them being deleted there by Fabio because he wants to actually focus down all these Norse houses. Very smart, because he knows that Scarab has the health to be able to get through this. Meanwhile, Neko Lizzie doesn't want to delete her own towers just to get the rams through. The barracks being deleted instead. Lordka's Frost being used as a follow-up behind Neko Lizzie's. But we've got the Tornado now being used, so that town centers get quite low. These production buildings of Neko Lizzie's. Got a Fimbulwinter, sorry. Just providing a little bit more damage to the base here. Going to focus down Pharaoh and the towers. Tornado not able to take down the barracks, but that leaves them really low. And now Faber has that siege tower. Start creeping forward with that. Debram in the meanwhile, a lot of units frosted up, but now being unfrosted. That's a really impressive pre-spawn here for our Double Egypt team today. And Faber has that Phoenix as well. Debram adding some siege towers as well, so it's going to look really scary. Our Egyptian players deleting their own buildings just to give themselves the map presence they need right now, but they seem to be well ahead. Lorca struggling to get the hill fort down right now. Right now the only player left without some access to siege, and the scoreboard is showing it. Debram looking very safe at the moment, has crept forward with the buildings really well right here, having houses past the halfway mark. There's no siege out to take them down. There is now a catapult to chip away at this hill fort. Citadel being used, and Faber throwing down that meteor. Ooh, so these guys have just picked off Neko Lizzie's production here with the tornado, and then the meteor being used over here on the left side of the map. Very impactful tech. I mean, very, very impactful god powers going down right now. And it looks like Debram and Faber have done it. Lordka tapping out. Neko Lizzie will tap out, and GG. Debram and Faber take the series, I believe.